Hello, hello. Welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about 3 tips to increase your intuition. I'm just going to make sure that I'm live in the group. How are you guys doing today? If you're watching the replay on YouTube, click the thumbs up. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be talking about... I do that sometimes. Turn the volume down. Okay, perfect. So I am live. Everything seems to be working well. Hello, guys. Welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about 3 essential tips for tarot beginners who want to trust their inner voice. So we're going to be talking about 3 tips to increase your intuition. I think that this is probably even more important for people who want to learn tarot than learning the meanings of each of the cards. I think that, hi Chris, how are you? I think that it is really important for us to tune into and be able to trust our intuition. And I think that when we don't have this piece, even after we've learned the tarot meanings, we still struggle in terms of accepting our readings, interpreting our readings, trusting any intuition that's coming in through our readings. And so I am so excited about this topic. I think that when we are connected to our intuition, we have the ability to make better decisions. We have a deeper sense of self-awareness. We have a greater spiritual connection. We tend to have increased confidence and are able to really step into self-empowerment and self-expression. And so I think that to do this work in terms of building and trusting the intuition, not only helps us give and receive tarot readings in a more powerful way, but I think it also really does help with so many areas of our life. Hi, Leslie, how's it going? So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about this. I'd have to say that I used to be very disconnected from my intuition. I used to, it's so funny because I used to use the analogy before I started meditating every day. It's almost like I was walking through this sort of, almost like I was walking through a swamp. Like the colors were all muted, things didn't feel clear, I didn't have a clear path, things didn't feel easy in terms of moving through my life. And then I felt like once I started meditating every day and I developed a daily mindfulness practice, it almost felt like everything opened up for me. It felt like stepping out of the swamp and into color, clarity, a very defined path, self-awareness, all sorts of things really started opening up for me. And so the big shift for me, and we're going to talk about that mindfulness practice, but the big shift for me, I wasn't even looking to increase my intuition, but it automatically happened when I developed my daily mindfulness practice. Okay, perfect, Leslie. By the way, Leslie, if you want me to be able to see you here, feel free to click the link above to give StreamYard access. It's just one quick link. It's just one quick link click, and then I'll be able to see who you are. And also, when I tag you, it'll show your name if I bring your comment up on the screen. But I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so I wasn't looking to increase my intuition when my intuition increased, but what I found was there were some very specific things that I could do to really tune into my intuition. And while my intuition opened up for a while, it also closed down for a little while as well and then reopened. So there's definitely an ebb and flow to intuition, and it does depend on a lot of things like daily spiritual practice and some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. Another thing that I feel like really opened up my intuition was intuitive eating. So I actually started my spiritual journey when I was learning how to heal my relationship with food. I was learning intuitive eating, I was learning awareness, I was learning mindfulness, and a lot of stuff opened up for me. And that's actually when I decided to become a coach. And it's funny because when I did the meditation on my dream life, I came out of the meditation with life coach written down, but I had no idea what a life coach was. Seriously, no idea. um, Now that I know, I might have run the other direction. But it's been such a fun journey. Okay, so some of the benefits that I have enjoyed from deepened intuition is not only, the ability to read tarot easily for myself and others, but greater confidence in my decision, greater trust in the universe and in myself when, things go wrong, a greater spiritual connection, and also being able to express myself better. So I'm curious, are you looking to increase your intuition? What methods are you using to increase your intuition? I love to hear from you guys too, so feel free to drop it in the comments. And let's talk about the three tools or the three things that we need to really tap into our intuition and trust our inner voice. So, number one is a daily mindfulness practice. A daily mindfulness practice. I already kind of talked about this, right? I'm going to put this on the screen too. I've already talked a little bit about this, but a daily mindfulness practice. Like I said, before I started my own daily practice, it felt like everything just felt so unclear. It felt like I was not present enough during my during my day to day. And one thing that I know for sure is that intuition comes through when we're present, when we're quiet, and when we're still. And so the more time that we can be still, the more time that we can be quiet and really just in that present moment, the more that our intuition can flow, the more that we can hear our intuition. So the truth of the matter is, we have intuition coming through all the time. How many times have you had an intuitive thought, a gut feeling, and you just kind of ignored it and did your own thing, and then later you wish that you listened to it? I'm going to tell you a story. I was at the gym, and I went to the gym every single morning. I did an hour and a half workout. It was my daily routine. And one day I got to the gym and I saw my purse on my seat, and I thought about picking it up and taking it in. But then I was like, no, then I'd have to put it in the locker, and what if somebody steals it out of my locker? Now, I had the typical practice of shoving it under my seat and still locking the doors, and I didn't do that this time. I thought about it. I thought about taking it in. I thought about putting it under the seat, and I didn't. I left it right there on my driver's seat. When I came out that day, I knew, like, my intuition was screaming at me to take the purse, and I didn't do it. I just left it. I second guessed myself and I just left my purse, and I came back to my window being busted in and my purse gone. So how many of you guys have had something like that happen to you? We have this intuition that's flowing all the time, and the key is really learning how to listen. Learning, how does it show up? How do I listen to it? We can really start to tune in when we develop a daily spiritual practice. So, some of the ways that my intuition comes is a sense of knowing. I had that thought that said, take the purse inside. I tend to listen when I have that thought now. Any type of thought like that, if it's like a do this now, I listen. I try my best to listen to that at this point because I really learned from that experience. But I have intuitive thoughts. I have gut feelings. when I'm in somebody's presence, maybe I don't feel great in their presence. Maybe in some people's presence, I feel really happy and really good. When I am in a relationship, friendship, like not even like romantic relationship, but in a relationship with somebody, do I feel good when I leave their presence? Do I feel bad when I leave their presence? Anytime I feel bad, what is my intuition trying to tell me? There's always a message in that, right? And so staying open to all of the different various ways that your intuition will come through. When I'm doing a reading, for example, the intuition comes through as a knowing or a feeling, a vibe, an energy. Staying open to that energy or that intuition requires that mindfulness, that presence. And so developing a daily mindfulness practice can really be helpful. So I do 10 minutes of meditation every morning. The meditation is just presence. It's just conscious breathing, looking around, being in the present moment. You do not have to sit with your eyes closed, um, undisturbed for X amount of time. I do 10 minutes and my eyes are open and I'm on live with, members of the community doing a little mindfulness for 10 minutes every day. Sometimes I'm journaling, but I'm connected to my breath. I'm connected to my five senses. I'm connected with the present moment. So really experimenting with what a daily mindfulness practice could look like for you. Maybe it's 3 minutes a day. Maybe it's 5 minutes a day. Maybe every time you wash your hands, you're going to be really present with washing your hands. Some of the daily activities that I try to be really present with are cooking and cleaning. And so when I'm cleaning up after dinner, I'm really trying to be present in the moment. And what I find is I'm present mostly throughout the day with practice. Any questions before I move on to number 2? Oh, Chris says I had that exact same experience. Are you talking about the purse? I'm so sorry. I wasn't on the right page for that. Where you had like a message that you didn't listen to? Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what you say about that. Okay. So number 2 is tools and practice. Tools and practice. Yeah, the purse. Yeah, that was a terrible feeling. Like I already knew not to leave my purse there. And then I came out and I was like, oh no. For all I know, there was somebody watching me in that moment pick up my purse, think about taking it and putting it on the seat. Ugh, so much. Okay. Number 2, tools and practice. So I'm going to talk about a lot of different tools. Tarot is one of those tools that can help you increase your intuition, because truly to increase your intuition is to practice using your intuition, practice connecting with your intuition, practice listening to your intuition. Like I said, it's always there. It's always there for you. It's always flowing. Are you present? Are you listening? Okay, so the tools and the practice can help you continue to practice, continue to get better and better. We are never good at something when we first start. We are never going to be good at something without practicing. So here's some tools that can be really useful. Tarot. Tarot is, especially when you're using it for yourself, it's an inquisition. It's an inquisitive practice where you're asking questions and allowing your intuition to answer. This is important. This is journaling. This is tarot. There's lots of ways that you can incorporate self-inquisition into your practice. And the answer that comes back is coming from your intuition. So any type of practice for self-inquisition is very powerful. Hi, Cass. Hi, Sarah. Meditation, obviously, because of the daily practice to help you be very self-aware, to help you be more present. A pendulum can be a great way. So I offer free pendulum questions with my readings. And a pendulum can be a fun way to test out your intuition. And there's lots of really cool, fun exercises you can do too. So sometimes when I've been scrolling through TikTok and a live has come up on my feed and someone is using a pendulum. Not even me, not even my pendulum. Somebody else is using a pendulum. Maybe they're throwing bones or flipping a coin, whatever. Somebody else is doing some sort of divination practice with yes or no's. I will sit there sometimes and I will say yes or no before they do their spin, before they do their whatever they're doing. And I see if I got the same answer that they did. And surprisingly enough, I'd say 85% of the time, I get the same answer as them. So that's really fun. It's really fun to kind of test out your intuition. Another practice that really works if you feel like you're having a hard time with your tarot readings and you're kind of tapping into the sort of logical part of your brain and maybe not the intuitive part of your brain. One of the things that really helped me with this, because I was very much stuck in this place too, and intuitively, I just thought of this exercise. So I took my cards and I asked a question, and I think I chose like somebody close to me, and I pretended like I was doing a reading for this person. Maybe it was like a celebrity or like a character in a show. I don't remember. But I thought about them. I did a reading, but like I left all 3 cards face down. And I took my journal and I just wrote. I felt into the cards, even though I couldn't see them. I felt into the cards and I wrote the advice that was coming through in the reading. And then I flipped the cards over and then I asked myself, how do these cards relate to what I just wrote down for my reading? So this is a really great way to practice with your intuition. So there's so many ways, and the more creative you can be in terms of practicing, and the more you can use your intuition to think of creative ways to practice, the better. Automatic writing is a really great way. Automatic writing is the way I was taught it. It's when you ask a question, you might do a little bit of, cleansing. You might connect in with your spirit guides and then ask a question and then write the answer, anything that comes to your mind with your left hand, just flowing, just writing. Now, I couldn't write it with my left hand. It wouldn't be legible. I just didn't feel it felt too weird for me. So I wrote it with my right hand. And some people even say to close your eyes and write. But what I've found is for me, automatic writing comes really easily. It really matches my form of intuition. And so just kind of playing around with things like that, it's kind of a mixture between that inquisition and also allowing your intuition to answer that inquisition. Um, Intuitive eating can be a really great way to practice with your intuition. Ask yourself what you want to eat. What does my body want to eat today? Allow for your body to answer. Feel into your body while you're eating. When are you full? When are you hungry? Are you eating before you're hungry? Are you eating past fullness, right? Like really work on being present during your eating experience. All of these ways are ways to practice with intuition. Paying attention to signs, having an intuition journal, writing down those signs that you're seeing, those repeating numbers, things like that. Hi, Barb. So tools and practice are really important. Those are just some examples of some tools, some examples of things to practice with. I think the key here is to I think there's a couple of keys here when it comes to the practice. I think first and foremost, you want to intuitively ask yourself which stands out most. So write a list of different experiments you want to do. And then ask yourself which of these would best serve me and my intuition right now, and see what comes up and pick that one. Use that for about a week, 2 weeks, right? Really practice that one thing for an extended amount of time. Just continue practicing that one thing. If it's not working and you're feeling like, oh, this was just not working, move to something else. So don't try to take on too much at once. Don't pick 4 things and try to do all 4 things at the same time. But maybe an intuition log and meditation can kind of go along with other things, right? So the intuition log, the meditation could be stacked along one other thing. So give yourself time and space to experiment and to have fun, right? I think a lot of it has to do with having fun and allowing yourself to not be perfect, not pressuring yourself. I see a lot of people who are trying to tap into their intuition, getting frustrated, pressuring themselves, feeling like that sense of inadequacy. So that kind of brings me to the third tool. Any questions on this before I move on to number 3? Number 3 is greater trust in self. What's your relationship like with yourself? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your intuition? If you're not trusting your intuition, why is that? Your intuition is you, right? You are your intuition. It's a part of you. So, how do you feel about yourself? This can look like self-love. This can look like self-worth. This can look like self-care. This can look like self-esteem, right? What do you feel about yourself? And how can you trust your intuition if you don't trust yourself? How can you have a negative self-talk and trust your intuition? So, really looking at how are you interacting with you first and foremost. Thank you, Sarah. um, this is a huge part, I think, that most people don't talk about. We can have the mindfulness, and honestly, the mindfulness will help with this part. I honestly think that part of how powerful a mindfulness practice is it connects us with our higher self, and it connects us with the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is magnificent, amazing, wonderful, lovable, awesome. We are so worthy. We are all inherently so worthy. And I think that when we develop that mindfulness practice and we're connecting with our higher self, we start to really tap into that inherent worthiness. We start to tap into that version of us that is just absolutely magnificent and amazing and wonderful and worthy. And so I think that a lot of these work together. I think that a lot of these support each other. But something that you can't count out is how you view yourself, how you interact with yourself, how you interact with the world. Do you trust the universe? Right? What is your relationship like with the universe? If you feel threatened by the universe, you're likely to feel threatened by yourself, by other people, by your external. And so working on those things within yourself are really important as well. Any questions, guys? Next, we're going to talk about some common pitfalls. Okay, let's talk about some common pitfalls, guys. So I've written down a couple, but I'd love to see what do you think are some common pitfalls for you in terms of increasing or tapping into your intuition? Number one thing I have is not trusting yourself, not trusting your intuition. Like I said, that intuition is always coming in. It is always flowing. Are you listening? Do you know how to listen to it? Do you know how to connect to it? Do you trust yourself that when you do connect with it, that it is giving you valuable information? Do you second guess it? Likely because you second guess yourself in probably other situations. Not trusting in yourself is the number one pitfall. Wanting your intuition to come in a certain way or time frame. So sometimes we might be trying to force our intuition in a certain way. So, for example, I've talked about this a little bit here in the group, but I don't have visualization capabilities. There's a name for it, and I can't remember what it's called now, but I don't visualize. Like if you tell me to close my eyes and see an apple, there is no apple. I can't, it's black. That's all I see is black. I don't see an outline of an apple. I don't see anything. So visualization or third eye, clairvoyance is not my form of intuition. If I was trying to force clairvoyance, I may not ever be able to connect with my intuition because I'm trying to force a gift that, at least right now, isn't showing up for me. Yeah, I'm really bad about second guessing myself. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I think it's big. I think it's a big, pitfall for us. So allowing your intuition to come in whatever form it is so much more powerful than trying to force a certain way. So, for example, if you're trying to visualize something and it's not coming, like maybe I'm trying to connect with my spirit guides, but I can't. But the only way you're trying to connect with your spirit guides is visualization. And that's maybe not your primary form of intuition, you're going to feel like you can't and give up. But if you allow yourself to practice some other ways, and I've given some, some tools, some examples of some tools, and there's still way more out there, right? But one of them that I was talking about was automatic writing. Maybe connecting with your spirit guides is easier for you doing automatic writing than it is visualization. So, really going and testing the waters in multiple different types and forms, because automatic writing comes from clear cognizance, which is something that is very strong for me. So looking at different clairs and trying out different ones, even for the same task, even the connecting with my spirit guides. I've tried visualization, which is clairvoyance. It didn't work. Let's try claircognizance. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try clairaudience. So really trying the different types of ways that your intuition can come through for the same task can be really important in terms of narrowing down the way that it comes. So I kind of talked about coming in a certain way, but also the time frame. We could get really impatient. I really liked in Gabby Bernstein's book. She talks about asking your spirit guides for guidance in a certain direction and then just waiting for a sign. You can even ask your spirit guides for a sign. Give me a sign if I should leave this job. And to be really specific too. So, like, show me a green snowflake if I'm meant to leave this job. So there's this element of patience. There's this element of waiting for the answer to come, asking for the answer to come. Kyle Gray teaches to ask your angels, and not even ask, to thank your angels, to say, thank you, angels, for, um, thank you, angels, for telling me what I need to know, something like this. So really just putting out the intention and allowing that to come in its own time. Okay, last pitfall that I have down is forcing instead of receiving. Sometimes we want it so bad that we're trying to force it. We're trying to, oh, maybe it's this, and we're trying all the things and we're doing. But what we need to be is just being, just asking the question and then just sitting in presence, in stillness, instead of doing, just receiving, instead of forcing or controlling, just allowing yourself to receive. I think that this is a really important thing when it comes to intuition, is that stillness, that quietness, that allowing for things to come through. So, for example, if you're doing a reading for yourself and you have put down a bunch of cards and you're struggling with a certain card, and you're like, oh, what is it? Is it this? Is it that? And you're reading the book and you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated because I don't know what this means, or this doesn't seem right. What if you put down the book, and what if you just take a few breaths and look at the picture? Stop trying to figure it out and just allow, just sit and receive. Um, so that's everything that I have for common pitfalls. And now, do you guys have any questions? I wanted to open it up for a little Q&A before I jump off of here. So, do you guys have any questions about increasing your intuition or anything that we talked about here today? Well, I don't see any questions coming through. So I wanted to say thank you for coming. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate you so much. If you came in the middle, there will be a replay here in the Facebook group. I'll also be posting this video to YouTube. Oh, you're so welcome. No worries, Sarah. No worries at all. Yes, I love that, Barb. Thank you. You're so welcome, Chris. If you guys think of any questions, please feel free to leave them here in the Facebook group. I love it when you leave these questions in a public place rather than DMing me. And the biggest reason for that is because when I answer it, other people get to see the answer as well. So feel free to leave the comment here in the group. If you're in any of my memberships, we have a special Q&A post that you can put it on. But here in the Love, Magic, and Personal Power Facebook group, you can feel free to put it in the group. If you haven't checked out the High Priestess Tarot School, I teach all the meanings of the cards. I teach you how to tune into your intuition, how to step into your magic. And I would love to see you guys there. It's my $7 a month program. Where I teach you how to read tarot and how to tap into your intuition. I have some really exciting things coming in the future as well. So stay tuned for more, especially when it comes to intuition and magic. Okay, guys, have a great day, and I will see you soon.